In this video, the literature in the course Social Psychology of Communication will be presented. The learning goals of the course are presented elsewhere. The book chapters and articles in this course are indicated by the yellow area. When the literature concerns deliberately influencing other people in communication, it says persuasion in green. When an article includes the application of a scientific method to gather knowledge, an empirical study, it is underlined by the blue horizontal bar. The literature is organized along these 7 questions. What do we talk about? How do we speak? What do we show? How can we understand the complexity of communication? How do cultures differ? How do we communicate through new media? And how can we communicate with computers? The book chapters and articles all add to answering the learning goals that are related to one of these questions. You also can organize your memory and understanding through these questions. The first question you should be able to answer after this course is, what do we talk about? When people talk about a certain topic, this mostly serves a goal. People set, consciously or unconsciously, goals on the basis of needs they experience. The action assembly theory explains how different goals are integrated in messages and communication. Different goals may play a role simultaneously, for example in persuasion, and together they shape the message. Besides the goal to persuade somebody, for example, to clean the kitchen, which is the primary goal, communicators may have secondary goals, for example to maintain a good relationship. Together, the goals determine the words and the non-verbal signals people use to formulate their message. In informal communication, talking with family or friends, brief episodes of communication about a certain topic can be recognized. For example, complaining, joking around or gossiping. These are called speech events. It is possible to infer the goals people have from observations of speech events. Also in coaching contexts between a coach and a client, it is possible to observe speech events, distinguishable episodes in communication. In coaching, the speech events always have a function in bringing about change, and they refer to behavior change strategies. The goal directs things that the coach does and says in interaction with the client, for example, providing feedback, giving instruction, or supporting implementation intention formation. The second question you should be able to answer after this course is, how do we speak? Besides the words people use, they also talk in specific ways. They may talk with a loud voice, fast or monotonous, or in long monologues. They also may stress certain words or syllables with high pitch or volume. This is called paralanguage, also referred to as an overlapping with the term prosody. One special case of paralanguage is the accent people talk with. People from different groups or cultures may speak the same words but pronounce them in different ways with different prosody. Depending on needs and goals, they often can choose to speak an accent or not. The use of accents influences the communication process. One important aspect of the use of the voice is the intonation of the voice. Intonation is the change in fundamental frequency. The pitch goes up and down. High intonation does something in communication. It may support persuasion or not. Intonation may intensify the communication and message up to a level that leads to rejection of the message. The third question you should be able to answer is, what do we show? When during communication we shut off the sound, we are left with only the things we see, the non-verbal communication. These are all kinds of movements of body or body parts, including facial expressions. There are several different ways of classifying all the possible non-verbal aspects of behaviors. Different classifications or taxonomies provide different angles on non-verbal communication. One manifestation of this non-verbal behavior is the occurrence of hand gestures during a presentation. It seems that different gestures indeed may influence persuasion. Another topic in which non-verbal communication is important is in lying. People can choose the words to deny a certain happening, but can they also choose their non-verbal behavior? They may be leaking information on their actual, possibly unconscious state of mind. The fourth question you should be able to answer after this course is: how can we understand the complexity of communication? Communication is complex. Many factors play a role, and these factors may influence each other in different ways. To understand the whole process of communication, we must map the entire iterative process. We can't stick to the individual level of understanding, like person A says this and person B understands it like this. That is, interpersonal communication is mostly about a sequence of verbal and non-verbal actions and reactions, and things may change during a conversation. 3 chapters present complex theories. Arousal theories predict when communication partners come closer or more distant on the basis of norms and changes in arousal. Communication accommodation theory explains how people use communication strategies to get closer, converge, or to get more distant, diverge in communication. Expectancy violation theory maps our expectations and what happens when a communication norm is violated. The expectancies regarding the handling of a cell phone in a romantic context has been studied recently. And remember,
theories are not vague or uncertain possibilities but formal descriptions of phenomena that are not easy to observe. You must apply theories to understand phenomena.
The fifth question is: how do cultures differ in communication? Different cultures, such as more individualistic cultures or collectivistic cultures, lead to different communication behaviors. That is, cultures lead to different personality orientations, which lead to different communication styles. The personality orientations are self-construals, psychological states that define people as individual or as part of a collective. This self-construal also influences persuasion. Cultures use different communication rules. For example, display rules about emotion expression in specific situation. When is it appropriate or desired or not to show specific emotions? These rules may be understood through cultural dimensions such as individualism and collectivism. Because cultures may differ substantially, intercultural encounters harbor an increased chance of misunderstandings and thereby conflict. However, before blaming cultural differences for conflicts, it is important to realize the general structure of interpersonal conflicts. Conflicts are complex speech events characterized by threats to personal, conscious and unconscious goals, negative emotions, and different framing of the conflict. A conceptual analysis provides many potential solutions to prevent, stop or lower conflicts. As many other organizations, the University of Groningen has implemented a code of conduct to prevent social conflicts and promote social safety. Recently, a style guide is published with tips for including gender-aware language use, language surrounding ability and disability, and language on background, ethnicity, nationality and migration. The sixth question you should be able to answer after this course is: how do we communicate through new media? This introduces the field of computer-mediated communication, CMC. One position is that in computer-mediated communication, compared to face-to-face, the communication is impoverished because only a limited number of channels can be used. For example, in email, all communication is text-based only. On the other hand, it seems that people compensate missing channels. For example, when they can't stress their words with their hands, they may use additional words to compensate the missing channel. Also, a hyper-personal dimension in CMC has been conceptualized. The communication can even transcend reality. It can lead people to fabricate perceptions of others and of themselves that go beyond reality. This can be observed in how people present themselves through the internet. For example, when they are dating online. The seventh question is: how do we communicate with computers? So not through computers, but with computers. How can we take them seriously? It seems that certain aspects of the presentation of chatbots or robots trigger social reaction patterns in people. Patterns that are actually meant to be used among humans. Specific features of the verbal but also non-verbal behaviors of robots seem to be interpreted as if they are from a human. People seem to forget the context of the computer as they are absorbed by the social cues that are communicated. One example of using these psychological patterns is in the field of health promotion. A smartphone app with a computer-generated agent who interacts several times with the individual to persuade him or her to increase fruit and vegetable consumption. This app was tested in a randomized controlled trial in two versions, a textual agent and a vocal agent. Also, physical robots, so explicitly revealing that they are a machine, can persuade people with gestures and their eyes, or actually the spots that look somewhat like eyes. And in 2022, ChatGPT was made available for the larger public. This language-based system, which is trained to predict subsequent words in sentences without any reference to meaning, provides us a glance into the future. Its possibilities seem amazing, but humans will have to learn how to communicate with it to fulfill its potential, to avoid flaws and even danger. So, the literature is organized along these 7 questions, and you can organize your memory and understanding through these questions. Please read the literature, it will explain everything. It will also help you develop the cognitive skills that are formulated in the learning goals of this course. I hope you have a good time in this course, and I wish you lots of success. Bye.